Hello, buddy. Welcome back to the Tin Man's Core channel. I'm your host, Jeffrey Tin Man Taylor. Today, I'm reacting to my second Night Time Spooks video for you guys, and this was titled 3 True Creepy Ex-Boyfriend Horror Stories. So without further ado, I'm going to turn these lights back off, move the camera up here for you guys, and let's get this reaction on the road and in the bag, shall we? Okay, here we go.
I am a female and in college. Back in high school, I dated a boy named Tom.
Okay.
He was a junior and I was a sophomore when we met. We started talking a lot and he seemed like a pretty cool guy. After about a month, we started dating. I felt like we kind of rushed into a relationship, and before long, he started acting differently. He would be controlling, and just after a month, I ended up breaking up with him. He was pretty upset, and I felt bad, but it was at the end of the school year, so when summertime came, I didn't have to see him for a while. The next school year, he was a senior and I was a junior. I tried my best to avoid him. We didn't cross paths much, and for a while we had no communication at all.
Yeah, if you rush into a relationship and you find out that the boyfriend acts all controlling over you, then you might as well just break it off. Try to find somebody else that won't do that. Seems like that dude wanted to be in charge in the relationship all the time and not let her do things, probably. But let's see what happens in this story next.
But about halfway through the year, he started talking to me in the halls a little. He was nice at first, but after a while he started to get weird, and then he asked me out once again. I said no. That made him upset, and after that he didn't talk to me for a long time. That is, until the end of the school year, shortly before he would be graduating, he started texting me again. He would say things like he wanted me back, and I never should have broke up with him. I ended up blocking his number, as well as blocking him across all social media platforms, and went on with my life. A couple of times throughout the next year, some of my friends would tell me that Tom asked about me, and how I was doing, and if I had a boyfriend, things like that. This was pretty annoying to me, as it had been over a year since our breakup.
He's gotten into that can't let go of her phase. I don't know why some fellas just can't accept that the girl you were dating has moved on and don't want nothing to do with you, and because you're acting so strange. But I got a feeling that he's going to do something drastic here to try and get her back.
I was hoping he would be over it by now. I didn't hear anything of him for a while. Then, during the summer after I graduated high school, I was outside one day when I noticed a car drive very slowly down our street. It came to a stop in front of my house. I looked, and I recognized the driver as Tom. I immediately went inside and hoped he would get the hint that I did not want to talk to him. He sat there for about a minute and then drove away. I was glad to see him leave, but it made me pretty uncomfortable knowing that he drove all the way to my house for some reason. That night, as I was in my room at about midnight, I got a call from an unknown number. I didn't answer, but they kept calling again and again. Finally, I answered it. I heard a voice on the line telling me that they needed to talk to me. I immediately recognized the voice as Tom's. I hung up the phone and blocked the number. Not even a minute later, I heard a banging on my window. I looked and saw Tom right outside. I quickly ran to find my dad, and luckily he was still awake. He came into my room just in time to hear glass breaking and Tom climbing in the window. Tom had a bat in his hand. He started to run towards us. My father told me to call the police, and he shut the door and held it closed. Tom remained in my room and then ran back for the window to leave. When the police arrived, Tom was gone, but we knew exactly who he was, and the police did not take long to track him down. I got a restraining order against him, and I hope that he never bothers me again.
If that don't scream psycho ex-boyfriend, then I don't know what will. Because he seems like he can't let go of her. He wants her back. But like I said earlier, if he wasn't so controlling, she wouldn't have not broke up with him. And he came all the way to her house with a baseball bat. It just seems like he don't care if he breaks the window just to try to talk to her. But I'm surprised her dad did not knock that boy down to the ground and take his bat away from him and then call the cops just so they can have him arrested right there at the house instead of holding the door because he was obviously going to leave. But thankfully, the cops tracked him down and got a restraining order against him. So if he breaks that restraining order rule, he's going straight to jail. I'm just sorry that this girl had to go through this whole ordeal. So let's get to story number 2.
I dated a man named Michael a couple of years back. We met at a bar, and after talking and hanging out for a few months, we began dating. We dated for about 3 months, and it was obvious that we just didn't click. We hardly saw eye to eye on anything, and would often argue. We ended up breaking up, but Michael was a little bit bitter about it. However, we agreed to stop communicating with each other. But only about 2 months after our breakup, I started to receive texts from a number I didn't recognize.
I don't get why people break up if they're not meant for each other, want to keep on talking to that other person. They agree not to talk or text to each other anymore, but then yet the guy here wants to keep on communicating with this woman. And she don't even have his number in the phone, so she wouldn't know who it was to begin with.
They would say mean things to me, like calling me bad names or saying that I'm a bad person. I figured right away that it had to be Michael, and I replied to him telling him to stop. He did not stop, however, and every time I would block the number, a new one would text me. After a while, the text stopped, and instead, I got a photo sent to me. It was a photo of my house. When I saw this, I responded that if he continued, I would be going to the police. The photos did not stop. I got several more over the next couple of days. One was of my car, another was my house from a different angle, and the last one was the most alarming. It was me sitting on my couch, taken from outside my window. I wanted to report Michael, but I had no actual proof that it was him, just suspicion.
Well, hey, that suspicion could be evidence enough. You show the police your text and the pictures, and then they could probably, that would be completely enough to follow her ex. He sends more photos or text. They got him.
I debated for a few days what I should do. I know I should have went to the police with all the weird texts looking back, but at the time, I just didn't think that I had to, as creeped out as I was. But then the text seemed to stop. After a few weeks went by, and I didn't receive anything strange at all, I figured Michael, or whoever it was finally done messing with me. I was very relieved and tried to forget all about it. Then one day, when I went to check my mail, I saw a package at my doorstep. It was about the size of a shoebox. It was brown and had nothing on it except for my name written in large, creepy-looking font. I instantly got the creeps. I took the package and went inside. I didn't know if I should open it or not, but my curiosity got the better of me. I opened the package and looked inside. There was a large stack of photos. When I looked at them, I saw that they were all of me. Some were my school pictures from when I was a child, and others were pictures of me from the internet, such as my Facebook and Instagram photos. But the most creepy ones of all were the ones of me walking down the street or in the grocery store. This was too much for me. I immediately took the box and walked outside to get in my car and drive to the police. I drove all the way there, feeling paranoid, looking over my shoulder the whole time. After I got there, I felt much safer. The police ended up questioning Michael, and he admitted that he was the one sending the photos and stalking me.
See, that's all you had to do. If you kept getting more photos and text from him, just go to the cops, and then they'll question him and get the truth. I know they probably scared the crap out of him to where he don't want to go talk to her no more. Well, if he hasn't been sending photos to her in them creepy texts, then this wouldn't have happened.
I am a 30-year-old female. This story occurred just a few months ago. However, it all started about 7 years back when I met a man named Dave and started dating him. At the time, I was fresh out of college and new to my job. After dating Dave for several months, he ended up moving in with me. Dave was tall, had dark brown hair, and usually had a slight beard. He was a quiet man, but very nice. We lived together for a couple of months, but then he started drinking heavily and would often get angry. We started to have many fights, and eventually, we both agreed to break up. He moved out, and I didn't hear from him again.
If a man drinks heavily or does drugs and they get to the point where they get angry at the female of the house or into the relationship, then it's not healthy for both parties and you might as well just break it off. But I know this guy's probably going to want her back too, just like the other cases I just listened to. But it ain't going to go so well.
One day, I got off of work early, and when I arrived home at my apartment, I went into the kitchen to get some water. As I did, I thought I heard my door open and shut. I felt a chill go down my spine. In my apartment, when you're in the kitchen, you can't see the front door. I slowly moved to the corner and leaned my head around. I didn't see anybody. I walked out and began to check the apartment, one room at a time. Each one appeared to be empty. I was a little spooked, but eventually I was able to settle down. A few days went by, and strange things started happening. Doors that I shut would be open when I got home, or things would seem to be out of place. I was afraid I might be going crazy.
No, you ain't going crazy. I think your ex-boyfriend came back and started stealing some things or not putting stuff in the right spot and forgetting to close certain doors. Oh, this ain't good. I would be putting like little hidden cameras around the apartment just so you could prove your suspicion that it won't you not remembering to close the doors, it'll be somebody else.
Then one night, I awoke in the middle of the night. I opened my eyes and sat up to see a man standing at the end of my bed facing me. It was really too dark to see, but based on the figure, I could tell it was a man. Other than that, I couldn't tell any details. I laid there frozen with fear. After standing at the end of my bed for what felt like 5 minutes, but in reality was probably 30 seconds, the man walked out of my room. I heard him slowly walk out and shut the door behind him and leave. As soon as I did, I got up, locked the door, and went around my apartment looking to see if anything was stolen or if any windows were unlocked. Then I called the police. They arrived and basically just took down information. After that, I was extremely careful to always keep my doors and windows locked. About 2 nights later, once again, I woke up in the night. But this time, I heard someone moving around in my apartment, outside my bedroom. I immediately called the police. I tried to talk as quietly as I could to them. They said someone was on their way. I got up as fast as I could, ran to my bedroom door, shut it, and locked it. When I did, I heard the man come to the door and try to open it. He tried for a few seconds, and then he began to pound at the door. I backed away and went to hide in my closet. My closet was very small, but I was able to fit in it, being just 5'2". After a couple of minutes, I heard the door open and footsteps come in the room. Then I heard a man call out my name. I recognized the voice. It was my ex-boyfriend Dave. He said he knew I was hiding and to come out. He said he was sorry and did not want any trouble. Just then, I heard a pounding on the front door and someone shout police. I didn't know what to do. To my relief, Dave then walked out of the room and to the front door and opened it for the police. As it turns out, Dave still had a key to my apartment after all these years. I had forgotten all about it. He ended up going homeless and recently used his key to help himself to my apartment. He basically lived there when I was at work, so I did not see him. I hope he gets the help he needs and is able to get his life back on track.
Okay, this one I kind of feel sorry for the dude here because he ended up being homeless and he needed a place to stay. Of course, I get that part, but he should have let her in on that he had a spare key and he didn't have nowhere else to go. But like she said, I hope he does get clean off of alcohol altogether and get his life straightened out because he don't need to be ended up in jail for breaking and entering somebody's house or apartment again. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on post notifications for more Nighttime Spooks content like this. This has been another successful installment of the 10 Man Score channel. I'm your host, Jeffrey 10 Man Taylor. I say that's a wrap, and that's Zeno.